right, welcome back to Coffee with Specs, featuring me, BrycethePrince Gaming, and I'm here with Specs Gaming TV. Specs, how you doing?
I'm recording this podcast and not playing MLB The Show 23. So,
So terrible.
yeah. Yeah.
Has it already got you addicted?
I just have stuff to do. So I'm excited again. Which is really it.
Yeah, that's always fun. Oh boy. So it was an interesting evening for both of us, but let's well, I guess I can start. Had an interesting experience on my stream for
You did.
the day we recorded this was Friday, and I was followed in mass by a bunch of spam accounts, so it was kind of unnerving, surprisingly unnerving. No, yeah, it was weird. All of a sudden I just had like a bunch of like my alerts was just like dink 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 dink, and I was just like, what is going on? And then I'd have like a bunch of follows show up in my activity feed, and I'm like, this isn't, no, what is going on? I ended up messaging Specs, and I said dude, you need to check out my stream, something's happening and I'm not sure if it's good or bad. I was assuming it was bad, but I didn't want to be like overstating, like, oh my gosh, the world's blowing up.
Yeah, and I can't really help you because I'm at work. Yeah. So it's like I can't really do
I
much.
mostly just wanted you to see and maybe like message me back and be like, do this really quick. My first thought was to stop my extension that shows the follows, because I was like, no, this is annoying. So
it happens.
No. Yeah, I mean, that's, and reading online, that's exactly what I'm reading, is like, well, it happens, you're gonna lose followers in the future when we delete these bot accounts, but for now, just they're there. I messaged,
so hey, but like I said, congratulations, you might have gotten affiliate. So.
But that's why I messaged Twitch, because it's like I'm like, with the followers I did actually get tonight, I was at like 29, I think, followers, like legit followers. And so like I'm like getting a lot closer to actual affiliate stuff. So it's like I didn't want them to think like I was like pushing myself over the limit by being like, hey, here's a quick little spam follow. Oh yeah, hey, I'm an affiliate now. I can have people subscribe to me now. Like, no, I want to make sure like if they let me, if they're like, no, cool, it is what it is, here's affiliate, it's like, then I'll take it. But I'm not gonna just be like, nobody says anything, maybe I'll be affiliate without anybody noticing.
I mean, I guess that's more likely because you are such a small streamer, so it's not exactly.
Yeah, I mean, and even with the follows I did get, it wasn't like I was talking with one of my viewers tonight, and they were like, oh man, that's a small that's a small spam follow, because a lot of people, like, even I was reading online, one person said they had 2,500 extra followers.
Yeah, because now, hilariously, looking at your stats, you're now right under me. You were in the top 7% of Twitch and are a ranked streamer now because you got so many followers. Because you got,
I don't want it.
Because
like, I'm not sitting here going,
because you literally because you literally got 151 followers.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. You got, like, I mean, I imagine that if I continue to do what I'm doing, if I continue to play games like Terraria and Mario Maker that are, like, for some reason real popular on streams, or at least they've done really well for me so far, at least as far as my thing goes. I imagine that I could get into that 200 range, you know, in a matter of, you know, years.
Considering you're now only what 50 something behind me, so.
Well, yeah, happened? But I mean, those will drop out. I'm sure Twitch will eventually get those. So, But I mean, I've alerted Twitch support, so they at least know it's there. Me.
That's all it is.
No, yeah. I'm just secretly, I'm just gonna tip up my follow account. Oh, hey, look, I'm a bigger share of the sex, except I didn't earn any of it. No, no, it was weird. It was a weird experience, and that's about all I have for video games for me. But Spects, you started playing some MLB The Show 23, and I think you've said
be a filthy
this is
little...
going to take over your content for a while.
Yeah, I'm gonna be a filthy little gremlin this weekend. That's all I'm gonna play. So if you don't like baseball, I apologize.
Are you canceling our Terraria stream?
I don't know, probably.
Oh man, I'll just have to go exploring on my own or something.
Maybe I'll play for a little bit because I can't really do Terraria for a long time. I get really bored very fast of Terraria. So
I'm sorry, we're not into the fun part yet.
No, I know.
We're still in the early exploring and getting some items here and there. I mean, I'm sure there's been parts, right? Like the Eye of Cthulhu when you died 3 times.
Yeah, well.
In a row.
Well, yeah.
But once we got that nurse set up, we actually were able to keep you alive.
Yeah, well. I just like to keep.
I think you'll like Valheim better. That'll probably be a better experience in the future.
Yeah, Valheim feels like Conan, and I didn't hate Conan.
So that'll be a better Survival Saturday game. By the way, I need to go into your chat and remove the command for Survival Saturday.
I got it.
Since you hate it.
I don't hate it. It's just you coming in.
You hate it. You tell me every time I mention it on stream. You're like,
then you make me feel like I'm an asshole.
Grumble. No, I mean, no. Look.
Is that what it is?
Look. You like
it.
I'm not here to pour stuff on you. Look, I thought you liked the idea and then you didn't. And
it was my mistake. I said, hey, I like the alliteration. That was really.
I know, and I confused that for you liking the idea. Like, if you had just straight up not liked the idea, I would have thought you would have just been like, I don't want to do that.
Well,
whatever. Anyways, so MLB The Show, how's it been so far?
It's just slow. I forget what it's like not to have double EXP on, but it's good. I like it. It's free on. This will be coming out Monday, so Tuesday, Monday at midnight, probably. It'll be free on Game Pass. So if you're interested in having Xbox One or Xbox Series X or whatever, or the new ones, I'd say give it a shot. It's free. Give it a good whirl. There's a lot to do right out the dang gate. There's a couple 99 Trout and Ohtanis out there already. So a lot of good stuff, a lot of World Baseball Classic stuff. So if you're into it or like baseball or don't even like baseball, you like sports games, hey, give it a shot. It's free. Try it out for a little bit, and if you don't like it, you can always delete it because it costs you $0.00. Or if you do want to see someone play it terribly, check me out.
Well, it costs you the cost of the subscription.
Yeah, it costs you $15 compared to what, 60 or 70 or 100 like for me. So
yeah. No, it seems like that's I think I'll in the next week or two I'll try to get into it when I'm not playing Valheim or
it's a good little grind.
Or any of the other games I do. So, but no,
if this was audio, if we were still doing just audio, 1000% I'd be playing the show right now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but we have to do video, so I can't. So
you can't like be looking off like.
No, I can't. No, I could 1000%, but I have to resize your window, and I'm not about to do that.
Oh yeah. Oh, because it's all hooked up to your.
Because it's set up to my gaming
streaming stuff. Yeah.
Because yeah. So it's really you're just delaying me an hour. I hope you're proud of yourself.
It's my fault. I'm sorry.
You're not sorry. Shut up.
Hey, this is your content that we're creating.
I know it's my fault. Why did I
Like, why did I ever start a podcast? I should have thought of MLB The Show 23 and when that would come out.
I should pay attention to release dates.
No. I mean, as we said back in December, like if there's ever times where you need a break from the podcast, even if it's for video games.
Yeah, that's a very stupid reason not to record. Hey, what do you? Oh, I'm playing the show tonight for all weekend. Please report to me on Monday. It's a very dumb reason.
Well, yeah, I mean, this week would have been an interesting one because we've got
and with
the Arte stuff to talk about later
Arte,
in the podcast.
Yeah, you got Arte and then World Baseball Classic stuff, and then opening day is a week from. Is it today or yesterday when the Angels' first game is?
What day it was? What is their first game?
I thought it was Thursday. I thought it was the 30th, and then they're off Friday and then play Saturday.
Then the 30th would be a week from yesterday as of this recording, so it'll be 4 or 3 days from when this is released, which is crazy to think about.
We're going,
but we'll get to baseball. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No,
I was just gonna say we'll get to baseball in a second. We'll talk Angels just a little bit before we start bashing on Arte. As you can see from the document I prepared, I've got a bit of chewing out of Arte to do.
I've
with
noticed.
I've
noticed.
No, I mean, just as we, the other video game I wanted to ask you about before we foray into our sports discussion. Resident Evil 4 is also coming out.
Yeah, Dream.
How long are you gonna be able to put it off not playing that?
Probably a month.
Probably a month.
I think one thing I'm a firm believer in is taking breaks from games that you're gonna play a while. So I think taking a week or so and doing like the minimum is fine. And I think the way this year's stuff is gonna be rolling, I think you're gonna be okay. Where it was like last year was like some programs were 2 damn weeks, and it's like, oh boy. But I think this year, because they're doing seasons, and I think season 1's a good 50 days. And then I think season 2 is like something similar. So if it's that long and they're kind of just like, hey, it's going to be a little bit slower in the main content, but sub content will be more active. That's I'm okay with, I think.
Are you still pretty excited for Resident Evil 4?
Yeah, I'm excited for it.
Is it still like right there towards like just underneath all the MLB The Show stuff at the top of your head? Like just underneath it is
probably
Resident Evil 4 is gonna be a good game.
Probably, and it kind of sucks because Hogwarts I still haven't beaten is gonna get pushed out, which is unfortunate. But
it's kind of what's happened for me. Like I unloaded Hogwarts for a little while because
I
was playing some Halo with a group of friends, and I don't have room for it on my PC.
I have it still. I'm not. Luckily, I don't have to like necessarily uninstall a whole bunch of games, but it's gonna be one of those games where it's like I'll probably have to beat it in a weekend or something just to get through it.
Yeah,
I think I'm like halfway, and I'm like I should get it done because I don't want to just leave it there.
I need to go back into it, but it's like I said, it's a matter of properly, or a matter of giving my games enough time. It might be once I finish Valheim, I'm able to move some stuff around, move Halo around for a few days, and then play some Hogwarts, and then move Halo back in.
And it's sort of the unfortunate thing too, where it's like you have this really small window to like play anything, where it's like for me, I might have a couple hours, during the week, but being a writer, being a sports writer, and mainly doing baseball and like Angel centric stuff for the most part, kind of gonna be difficult.
Yeah. No, yeah, it's you now with you being back in full-time work and also sports writing and also trying to stream content, it's your time's getting filled up now.
Yeah.
You're no longer able to just spam playing Hogwarts and then tell me how much of a loser I am at dodging and stuff. So no, but yeah, no, it's there's a lot of video games right now to play, and it's a little disconcerting for me to have so many. Like for a while, I was like, oh, what do I play? But now it's like, oh, I have everything to play. What do I play? Not in terms of I don't have anything to play. It's what do I play? I have 4 games on my docket to play.
Yeah.
So, we'll see. We'll see when I can get into Halo as well, because I think this weekend I'm gonna play some earlier in the week, just a game or two. It is fun. The new game mode's fun. It's just there's a lot to it, and I need a group of friends to play with. So
that's good. I'm glad.
But no, anyways, transitioning on, we'll talk a little basketball. I mean, both NBA and college basketball. Let's start just NBA real quick, because there's not a lot to discuss necessarily, but man, that West Coast standings, I was looking at it as
what a
of
mess.
This recording.
What a mess.
What a freaking mess. And March Madness is also kind of a mess too.
Yeah, both are very much, I would say, messes.
Looks like
one more than another.
Hoping the Lakers win tonight, because that would be a good step up on the.
I would say one more than others.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, like right now, as of this recording, the Lakers are in 8th place in the West.
Yep.
And they can go a half game up on New Orleans with a win over Oklahoma City, or they'll be down. And I think Dallas currently holds the tiebreaker. So they could be out of the playoffs if they don't beat Oklahoma City tonight. Or they could be like a nice solid 8th place. And right now they're 13 games out of first.
And yet they could be a game out of like 4.
Only a game and a half. They're only a game and a half out of not having to do the play-in. And they are only 2.5 games out of being in 4th place in the West.
Yep.
What is this? Is the West just bad, or is the West just good? Is there just a lot of parity? I don't know. And then you got Dallas, Utah, and Portland, like right now, who are sitting out on the bubble, like just outside of the play-in. They're all really close. Even Portland is, Portland's at least a little bit further out, but like Utah's only 14 games back. Dallas is 13.5. This is just a wild. I mean, that partially has to do with just the nature of they've added the playing games, but like, but this Lakers team, I honestly think if they can somehow manage their way into the playoffs, they could be an interesting team to deal with.
Okay, they get hot at the right time.
Yeah, you go. If you get D'Angelo Russell and Austin Reeves is starting to heat up, and man, this is a good looking team. They're playing defense pretty well, and it's starting to show. But no, yeah, and then March Madness, my and your choice for the winner of the bracket lost. UCLA got beat by Gonzaga
in a good game.
Yeah, no, what an incredible finish. This has just been one of the more wild tournaments I've remembered in a while. Like it's March Madness for a reason. Yeah. But like San Diego State beat Alabama, Miami beat Houston. I think that all the number ones are gone.
Yeah, they all lost tonight.
Holy cow!
Because
Miami beat Princeton, and that was even closer than it should have been. Like, is Texas now our favorite? Like,
I think Texas or Miami.
It's wild. I mean, this is just crazy. And so then and then and in Utah, they were talking here about Utah's women's team made it to the Sweet 16, but they got beat.
Yeah.
But no, it's fun time to be a basketball fan, to watch all these games.
Yeah, when games matter. It's always fun when games matter, right?
Yeah, no, for sure. It's and then when the games are entertaining and like both in the NBA and in college basketball, the games have been entertaining.
Sometimes that's all that matters, right?
Yeah. Like there's some seasons where you get to the end or like some tournaments where you get there and it's just like, yeah, this is all that kind of happened and you're just like kind of done.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to see if isn't the Lakers game on ESPN right now?
I have no idea.
It is, but I can't figure. I can never quite figure out my Hulu app as the thing.
Is that the worst?
Let's see. Sports. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they weren't on. I thought for some reason they were on ESPN.
They might. I don't know. They might be. Who knows?
It doesn't look like they are. Anyways, but no, yeah. Sorry, I was just trying to see if I can
it's on
slide
Sports
the game on.
Nah, it's on Sports Center.
Even on Sports Spectrum or whatever it is.
The channel I have that you don't have.
Yeah. The stupid West Coast version of the Yes Network.
It's a couple of those now.
Yeah, no, I know. But no, it's entertaining.
I'm pulling it up. What's the score here? What's the score we got here?
Lakers are up 102.99, it looks like.
Oh.
So and maybe as we finish, we will get to the end of the stream and we'll be like, oh, Lakers lost her. Lakers won.
102.99, 6 minutes to go.
Yeah. No, it's
every time I turn on
interesting finish, although if you're listening to this on Monday, it's already done.
It's always interesting listening to a Laker game because I hear Billy Mack and I remember Billy Mack when he was doing Angel stuff.
Oh yeah.
That's a random thing. He's been there for like a decade now. It's wild.
Yeah, he's good at what he does. I always liked Billy Mack. All right, so transitioning, let's see. Let's talk World Baseball Classic before we hop into the Angels.
Okay. What do you want to talk about the World Baseball Classic, sir?
There's a lot of good games. So last week when we were talking, it was the U.S. hadn't quite faced. I don't even think they'd faced Venezuela yet.
No, they played Venezuela that Saturday.
And Trey Turner.
Trey Turner is an absolute animal.
Was a god in the World Baseball Classic.
Yeah, he was.
An absolute god.
Yeah, he was.
And it was beautiful.
Yeah.
And then the US just destroyed Cuba.
Blew them out of the
game
water.
where you kind of wish that even though you know that they shouldn't, but you kind of wished, oh man, wish we kind of had the mercy rule in the elimination round because this game is it was done. It was done for a long time before it was over.
It was unfortunate. For multiple reasons.
And then Mexico almost upset Japan. That would have been wild to have US versus Mexico.
A rematch.
When everybody's expecting US versus Japan. But Mexico lost on a walk-off hit from Japan's, I forget the name of the player, but
yeah, those names are kind of a mouthful.
So, but Japan had a walk-off double, I think is what it was.
Yep.
And then the final game.
Could you have asked for anything better?
Trout versus Ohtani. Like, what were your thoughts? What was going through your mind? Like, all those other games, like, yeah, you could give me thoughts on Venezuela, and I'd be so interested in hearing them. But the thoughts I'm really interested in was what was going through your head as you watched Trout versus freaking Ohtani.
I never want to see that ever again. But
I really hope we don't have to see it again.
I don't know, because it's one of those spots where it's almost like your two favorite, like your children facing off or something.
Yeah.
Like, I don't get me wrong. I I think it's wild because like the more and more we think about it, the more you realize Ohtani had the advantage because one, Trout's not seen 100-mile-an-hour plus fastballs in the spring. I don't think he's seen anything close even in the World Baseball Classic. But God, I mean, my God, man, it's really weird when you see like the best guy in like. I have a clip I made for a raid alert when I was starting Twitch where I took a My Hero Academia scene and put Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani's faces on All Might and Deku. And literally that's what I feel like it happened, was just this beaten Mike Trout just pointing to Ohtani saying it's your turn now. And I don't mean that like in a bad, I'm not saying it was like a passing of the torch, but it's like, how often do you see like the two best players go at it in that spot? Like this is probably gonna be my article, is just putting that into perspective, because I think that's in terms of sports, that might be the most hyped thing like we've ever seen, because like just in sports in general, because the last like major like guys we want to face each other I don't even know when.
Yeah.
I like when was the last one? Like it was in basketball, right? Because we never got a LeBron Kobe. We never got basketball. Like
I mean, the closest I think you could talk about like, you know, all the Cavs Warriors matchup, but I think people got tired of those. And then you got, you know, Lakers Celtics.
No, so I was saying like Lakers Celtics,
back in those, and
but you didn't have like, what I'm saying is like individual players.
Yeah, no, that's true. It's hard to think of like a time where you had like players where it was like,
is it like Magic Bird and Magic Jordan, like that era is like the last time we really had like titans of the sport go at it, because we didn't really have it in football. Like, I guess realistically, if Brady played Rodgers, that would have been one, but that never happened. So like, is that really like those Manning Brady's like AFC title games that haunted me as a Colts fan? Was like, were those the last ones? Like, is this gonna be like that defining moment that we're gonna tell? Like, I'm gonna tell my kids, like, and showing them on YouTube, like this at bat. Like, is this that defining moment where it's like you remember where you were seeing that?
Probably.
And just seeing, I don't even know. Like, that slider he threw was the filthiest thing. I don't know how they showed that on television. That pitch was gross. That was the I saw an overlay of that on his fastball. I understand why Trout swung at that. That thing looked like a fastball in the hand, and at the last second it just like took a right turn.
But here's the thing I ended up learning from all of this.
What?
Was the World Baseball Classic. We were having debates in America, in the United States, you know, for, well, who cares sort of thing.
Well, if you're KFC from Barstool Sports,
but if you look,
didn't care.
Well, yeah, but if you, but, and I mean, there's so many baseball fans, I think, even this year, who maybe went into this kind of like, yeah, whatever about the World Baseball Classic, came out of it like, wow.
Well, you know what was funny? And someone made this comment when I was listening to the Dan Le Batard show this week, and I think it rained, or last week. I think what really happened is the fact that we had a really late World Cup in November. So the gap between like international sports wasn't that big. It started in November and ended in mid-December.
Yeah.
Or something like that. So really we only had 2 months without like international competition. And they didn't really hype up the World Baseball Classic or anything. They pushed it off of Fox, which was, I think, really stupid. But I think the fact that we had a Winter World Cup in November, and then we had more international competition in March, which went from kind of a slightly meh month apart from March Madness to like a really exciting month and we only have a handful of days before the season starts again. So we're going from, Mike Trout versus Shohei Ohtani into like, these guys are playing on the same team. And I know it kills the national media in every sense that these two guys are on the West Coast because these old boomer writers can't stay up past 9:00 to watch an Angel game, which I say tough titties. And if I have to hear one more time, I swear to God, I listen to any podcast this year and I hear, get him out of Anaheim, get him put down in Anaheim, put him in Philly, put him in New York, put him anywhere, put Anaheim, because I don't like Anaheim. Yeah. You get grow up. I listened to a podcast today, and literally, I kid you not, they spent 30 minutes talking about how Shohei Ohtani, Mike Trout, and Randy Arozarena should be in bigger markets like Philly so that people can enjoy them. And I'm like, this is what I hate. And it's always this. I'm going to rant. It's always the same goddamn fan base. It's always these flippin' Boston fans who think they have this weird, and Yankee fans who have this weird unalien right to poach stars from other teams. And it's like, can you not, like, really, can I go one week without someone telling me Ohtani deserves to play somewhere else? Like, can I go a week? Like, do people do this with Nikola Jokic? Like, does Jokic get poached off the Nuggets every week? No. So why is it Ohtani? Oh, because he has to deal with, like, the worst luck in baseball and has an owner with a brain the size of an acorn? Like, get over yourself. They did it again today. When he talks, there was a quote that he did after his game where they asked him, like, oh, because, he said the World Baseball Classic was his best experience. And somebody asked him, did that change your stance? And he said no. And Bob Boob Nightingale strikes again, you little shit. Strikes again with leaving out portions of his statement again when he says, I want to win and I want to win the Angels. And that magically disappears from the quote. Angel Homer podcasts have to show the whole thing because these national writers who just want to push an agenda once again leave out parts of information.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's
and I would and for the record, I would laugh hysterically if he pulls a Trout and signs some long-term deal in the next few days and everyone collectively shits themselves because no one's going to get the chance to outbid it.
A 12-year, $520 million contract where everybody's like, oh, no!
He's stuck in Anaheim!
They're gonna waste him.
They're gonna waste him like they wasted Trout.
2 World Series with him.
And mind you,
I hope he stays, but obviously, I would also not blame him if he left.
I wouldn't.
And it's for reasons we're about to talk about.
I wouldn't blame him if he left, but I would be. I think maybe I'm just being polar. Maybe I think if he left, I would stop rooting for the Angels and just root for Trout and Ohtani. I really do.
I can see that happening.
And I think that'd be a lot of people.
We need it. Let's get into the Arte segment.
All right.
Okay. As much as I've been wanting to kind of delay this and not start ranting myself. Okay, so the Athletic released the transcript for the for Arte Moreno, who had not met with the media for 3 years, which is an issue in and of itself. That don't get me started on how Arte handles his public appearance and how stupid he can be.
Yeah.
And then when he does finally appear in the media, he makes a fool of himself. He shows how little he cares about baseball.
Yeah.
And so let's just so the Athletic released the full transcript. Sam Blum, who I will say, I think personally is the best reporter on the Angels. And what's funny about that, he's probably one of the few that doesn't sit there and go, oh man, I kind of hope the Angels win. He's the one that's sitting there going, I'm just going to report on the Angels. Because I never would have thought that a guy like that would be the guy I'm looking to and going, wow, this guy provides the best Angels content.
You know why? Because he's not from here. I think because he's not from the LA area. He went to school in He went to school from New York. I think he's from the East Coast. Like, what does he give a crap about? He can just report without.
This is what he said on his podcast. So, no, yeah, it's so he's great, and he asked, like, as we're gonna go through this, he asked the real questions.
Yeah,
I think he said on his podcast there's only one question he was afraid to ask, and so he didn't, and that was, what kind of job do you think Perry Manassian's doing? Because he said it would have been awkward with Perry Manassian sitting right there.
Yeah,
and it's like, yeah, no, I agree. So yeah, let's just kind of dive into this. So some of this sucks. I created a little notes for me and Spects to kind of look through. But
if you haven't,
we're gonna also go through the transcript itself. So because we didn't quite get through all our notes because we both had a busy week.
Yeah, real quick. If you are an Angels fan and haven't checked out Sam's article, follow Sam Blum on Twitter. And if you can get it somehow, on The Athletic, if you get it, they have free trials where it's like $1 or something. Like, just at least read the article. I think I want to say it's probably somewhere on the Angels Reddit. It might be. Like, if you can get your hands on it, check it out. He had a podcast where he sort of talked about this too. I know Sam Blum is kind of polarizing. I like him because he doesn't hold punches, and I've said, I don't think I've ever really talked about it on here. I've hated for the last few years how the OC areas handled the Angels, how a lot of it's sort of like, good job, sport, and, smack on the ass, instead of just actually being tough on him. I from what I've gathered from other places is that's just how it is. No one really reports anymore. Beat writers are just pushing team propaganda because the fans don't want to hear it. It's like, no, I want to hear it. When the team sucks, tell me it sucks. Don't, like, I'm an Angels fan and I'm a Colts fan. I'm a Ducks fan and I'm a Lakers fan. All I know is misery. Stop telling me it's not misery when I had the 4th pick in the draft and I'm gonna have Will Levis. I'm gonna smack my head on a board. It's for another day.
No, yeah, I agree. So he released the full transcript. I'm sure other outlets might be releasing it too, but he released it. Check this out on The Athletic. We're not gonna read through each one of Artie's answers in whole, because obviously you should read the whole thing. But I do have long quotes from what Artie said to the media. And so we're just gonna start kind of question by question. We'll skip some questions. We're not gonna go through the kind of unimportant ones. But there's a number of them where it's just, and then like Specs mentioned, he released a podcast where he talked, and he's starting his own podcast on the Angels, and he talked about like this whole thing, and so I was able to listen to that a few times and like really get a grip of like, yeah, no, he hits the nail on the head in so many ways. So if you can give that a listen, maybe Specs can link that into the YouTube video version of this. The article in the podcast.
It's only on Apple Podcasts, by the way. So if you're looking for Spotify,
so you'll have to listen to it that way. Although I think you can listen to it on PC just by
you can do it on PC.
Pulling it up on your PC and then clicking the link.
If you're listening to it at like work, just look. I'll leave a link to. I'll figure it out.
Yeah,
we'll figure it out. If it's down below, I figured it out. If it's not, I'm sorry.
So, but to start off, we have the first question that I think is Sam Blum himself asked. No, Jeff Fletcher asked.
You should have put like who said it.
I meant to. I put the ones that Blum asked. I'm just gonna, but I mean, I have to kind of go through this question by question, anyways. But Fletcher asked. I just kind of scrolled down a bit. He asks, he says, you change your mind about selling the team. Will you plan on do things any differently going forward? The quote I pulled from that, which is a lot of what Artie just said. He says, we never stopped doing anything. I was communicating with Perry almost every day. As soon as the season was over, we started looking at players available and by category, pitching, any of the holes we thought we had. I told them, no matter what happens, I want this team prepared to play and win. We invested a lot of money. I wanted to make sure that if I changed my mind that we were okay, go. We felt that we were really aggressive. We went after Anderson hard. We wanted that starting pitcher bullpen, and then obviously last year we weren't getting enough when Rendon goes down, Fletcher went down, and Walsh is having problems. So no real depth. So we're running kids up there who weren't really prepared to play the amount of time they had, and then Trout goes down. We just didn't have depth, so we spent a lot of time and money.
Do you want me to go? Do you want? Oh, sorry.
I'll start with my reaction, then okay. I want to gauge your reaction from this. We'll kind of snake that. On the next one. I'll go your reaction first.
Okay. Yeah.
So, and I wrote this down, so I'm going to kind of read what I wrote down. But what I wrote down was, do you know what I don't see? What are his plans for doing things differently? That was Jeff Fletcher's question. Arte, what are your plans for doing things differently? Not. Well, we're doing stuff. We're still doing stuff. This is the same product we've had for the past 5 years. Yes, I agree we have more depth. Yes, I believe this season might be a lot better. And I believe the offseason was a lot better. And I believe the offseason was a lot better because you were a little bit distracted and you let Perry kind of handle things. The word is you wanted Trey Turner.
Yeah, he wanted Turner, and Perry said no.
And that's so, which, like, don't get me wrong, great player, but that was never going to be the right pursuit. And so, yeah, you know, like I said, like, you know, Perry was able to talk him into going after depth rather than flash. And that's a major improvement, but the organization needs sweeping changes. It has so many issues. Like, we've talked about that on the podcast. We've talked about the issues with the Skaggs thing. How do you have a drug ring in your organization and then go on to say, everything's fine here, nothing to see? Like, how do you pretend that that's fine, that you don't need these changes? It's just so frustrating for him to just sit there and just bullcrap about how great he's doing, because he's not. I'm sorry, I'm ranting, but
you're good.
It's just like I feel like this season, I do agree. I feel like this season, if things don't have to go as perfectly as they would have last season, this is probably the first season in a few years where I'm thinking, hey, we've got enough depth that if players go down, as long as it's not like season-ending injuries kind of things.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, when they go down. But as long as it's not a bunch of season-ending injuries, then we have enough depth that I think we could carry ourselves along. But I wrote this down. I said, it just feels like that's not because of Arte. It's in spite of Arte. Perry worked in spite of Arte to get this great team put together this year.
Yeah.
So anyways, that's my reaction is, where's your answer? This isn't an answer. This doesn't talk about the question at hand. So anyways, what was your thought on that one?
What a great answer by Perry. I mean, breaking it down, is he right that a lot of it was injury? Yes. It was the issue you didn't have depth? Yes. Because you decided to you plug the holes, but when your depth was Tyler Wade and Andrew Velasquez, and like today people were upset that Moniak and Adele probably aren't going to win the fourth outfield job, and are upset because Brett Phillips isn't hitting the ball. And I'm like, because Brett Phillips has a commodity. And what's that commodity, children? He can play defense. Adele can't play defense. Moniak is always had a very good spring, and then he had, like, somebody made the comment on Angel's Twitter that he had like 7 home runs last year for the Phillies in spring training, so he's really good at spring training and then doesn't really do well in the season. So when you're playing smart baseball and you're not just like, oh, flash in the pan, it's like we were talking about too last year when it was like guys had great 2 weeks because spring training was so short. So guys were really being flashed in the pan, was like, it was either like feast or famine. And with a lot of that stuff, like that's why you get guys like Brett Phillips. It's like, okay, we don't necessarily have to worry about the hitting aspect per se, because we got him for his glove. If he hits, he's gonna hit. But we need a fourth outfielder just for a glove. Win. But yeah, the depth thing's huge. Did he answer the question? No. But again, the thing, I'm looking at this from a different perspective. You have to remember he's got PR guys who are probably writing these answers. So as much as it's like, we're going to, haha, gotcha. But it's more he got coached on probably what to say and how to say it. Like when I see this answer, that's not an Arte answer. That's Perry answering the question. That's how Perry's going to answer the question. Like, what are you doing different? Well, we got depth. Why? Because, well, we lost a lot of people, and what we have left, we had Taylor Wade. And one of the things that you have to realize with baseball is you have to hit on your big free agent signings, and you have to have quality depth. The Angels have failed at both occasions for the last 8 years. And with guys like Adele, who somehow just can't put it all together, and Moniak, where it's like guys who sort of seem like 4A players, like one of them has to hit. So when you have depth, you can kind of not rush them up. You can let them figure it out in lower leagues, which is good. So yeah, did that fix things? Not necessarily. Did it like it's like one of those things where it's like, was last, like, are you in a better spot if something catastrophic happens? Yeah, clearly. But
yeah,
I don't necessarily like, I don't know what you're expecting from that answer other than
I know,
than
but
that,
it's just irksome to have him sit there and be like,
what
improvements are you gonna make?
None. What is he supposed to say? Like, what do you want him to say? Be like, oh, we're gonna spend a lot of money. I want him to
say, not necessarily that. No, I want him to say, we're working on. I can't release all the information right now, but we have some specific things that we're targeting. When I decided not to sell this team, I did it because I wanted to come back and I wanted to make sure that we did things the right way.
Okay.
The problem is the way he answered it makes it sound like we've been doing things the right way, just hasn't worked out, and it just, I don't know.
Maybe we'll jump to the second question. I guess that's sort of where I feel like you're leaning towards. Do you want me to read this one since I'm going first? All right. So this one was from Sam Blum. Are there any other aspects of the organization you're planning on investing more? Artie's response was, well, it's a consistent thing. We've always invested in the stadium. We put over $40 million worth of extra money based upon our needs. We really work hard to make sure it's clean. It's the fourth oldest ballpark. We're always painting and always keeping it clean. That's literally the answer. I think he said it in his podcast, something along the lines of like, what did they do? Oh, they repainted the A in the hats.
Yeah. No,
like that's what he did. It really is old. I think there was an article a couple of years ago that literally was talking about how the bones of the stadium need to be redone. Because it is the fourth oldest. For the record, I'm not defending Arte. I am not when I say this. I am not. The stadium, that the parts the fans see aren't bad. The problem with the stadium is its bones, infrastructure, and a lot of stuff that just needs to be handled internally needs to be fixed. That's really it.
I don't disagree.
That's the problem.
Is a horrible experience.
But that's the issue. That is the real issue, and I don't mean this in a bad way. I don't. But it's a little unfair to ask that question when everyone's aware the issue is it's the bones of the stadium. It's not really the face. It needs like electrical work. It needs plumbing work. It needs
sure.
It needs more of like the maintenance portion, and that stuff you sort of unfortunately have to do it gradually. It's like you can't really do it in a one-off season. You can try, but a lot of times it's such a back of your head thing until you end up like a Soldier Field situation or a FedEx Field where it's just raining feces, which it's not going to do. But at some point you are going to hit those renovation parts because it's just the nature of it. But like I said, when I read this question, it's like,
well, yeah, but I think you're also misunderstanding. Like, you get distracted by Artie's answer because, Artie's answer.
Okay,
what
do you want him to say? Okay, wait. Okay,
but,
what do you?
But that's not what.
Is it?
Blum's follow up.
Okay, is it okay? I was gonna say. Okay,
question.
Okay, is that what you're really trying? Because I noticed that you put that. I wasn't gonna touch the minor league stuff until that part. That's not what I was talking about.
But my point is, so my only reaction to this is the fact that he hears this question of what are other aspects of the organization that you're planning on investing more, and his answer is painting, cleaning, making sure the stadium looks okay. Like, the fact that he hears that and it's like, no, that's not what we're asking.
Just real quick, I think your lines at the back end or Sam's quote there. That's
no. And so ding. Sam, no, yeah. So he says, no, the always painting and always keeping it clean. That was from Arte, but on the podcast on Calling All Halos, Sam Blum did say, he says, credit to them for doing the little things. And he goes on to say, I was surprised, though, that his mind goes directly to that point of business and fan experience stuff.
But that's what he knows.
Instead of... But that's the problem.
Yeah, no, but the whole...
He's got a lot deeper problems in his organization than fan
hold on. Time out. What is Arte? What was Arte? What was Arte's thing?
He's a businessman.
What specifically? He and I do something similar.
Marketing. Well, and I get that, but that's exactly the problem.
No, but the whole thing is you clearly don't.
The problem.
You clearly don't, because when I see that answer, that's the answer I expect from someone in marketing. Because that's the stuff I have to answer. That's the stuff I have to answer every day when I'm at work.
I get it, but that's
those things.
Yes, he comes from a marketing background, but being the owner of a baseball team is not marketing.
Yeah,
you and I have discussed this before.
No, I know that. He sucks. He's terrible at marketing. He hasn't
learned anything in 20 years.
He doesn't have to. It's not his.
He hasn't though.
No, but here's the thing.
Team.
No.
This is his toy,
but you got to realize something. Here's the bit you're missing, and I think this is the hard reality Angel fans are realizing between Sam Blum's podcast and the transcript. This is how all owners are. This is how. I don't care what other fans say about their owner. This is all owners care about. That answer right there is the look behind the curtain of how all other 29 owners will look at it. I hate to, yes, it is. No, it is. It's 1,000%. This is all they care about. They will meddle. They will meddle. They will meddle. They will meddle. Don't get me wrong. They're going to meddle. They will 1,000% meddle. But when it comes down to this, and you ask them this question, they're either going to give you a bullshit answer like this and say we're stadium crap, or they're going to whip you around and give you the list of things that his staff is doing that he's just going to take credit for. That's what I'm getting at. Is I'm not trying to say like, oh, Stan Kasten in LA cares more about his players than Arte. No, he probably cares about the same. To be completely honest, they're guys signing the checks. He leaves all the baseball stuff to Friedman.
The problem is Arte doesn't.
Stan Kasten doesn't either. That's my whole point. All the owners act the same. Arte. The thing with Arte is the reason why Arte gets the way he gets is because everyone's aware of Arte's meddling. But I'm telling you, all 29 other owners meddle just as much. Maybe not to the degree of Arte, where he gets so damn impatient he calls off multiple trades. One was probably for the better, to be honest. But the point is that this is all 29 other owners would ask the same thing, would either answer it the same way, or just read a laundry list of accomplishments off a Wikipedia page.
And so I see where you're coming from, but
that's all they're gonna do. You ask this question to any of them.
I do feel that there are plenty of owners, or at least several owners in every sport, that trust their GM to do their job. Artie does.
That's the most. I don't think Artie trusts Perry to not do the job. I think I would say the bigger problem is Artie likes the shiny object, because you said he wanted Trey Turner.
Yeah.
Would Trey Turner help the team? Absolutely, he would help the team. That lineup would be disgusting, but would it be any better than last year's? Okay, we got a shortstop. Like that's the thing you have to realize. That's the thing of it. Is would it solve something? Yeah. I mean, argumentatively, based on what they ultimately got, did it really made a difference? No, they still could have traded for Hunter Renfroe and
sure.
Gio Urshela and signed some of the other guys, because the only real big signing was Anderson. They still could have argumentatively, if you want to make the argument, they could have argumentatively gotten the depth, because they didn't really sign any depth. They traded for it with acquiring Turner. Could you make the argument? Yes. Can you say that, Perry should have spent the money to get a Trey Turner? Yeah, we can say that maybe he should have, because we didn't really, depth wise, we didn't sign anything, right? We can argue that, but it's this weird. It's a weird paradigm where you got to remember too, what he said with Verducci is going to be different than what he's answering here, because I guarantee you he's aware of Sam Blum and what Sam Blum's going to ask. Verducci's not going to ask these questions. Verducci didn't touch the SCAG trial. Blum did. Blum asked about the minor league player development stuff. And that's the next question, which I want to make the point real quick before we get there. I don't see it here, but I want to make the point where he makes the comment and he compares the minor leagues to brokers on Wall Street who are in 1-bedroom apartments. And I'm like, that's a different thing, Perry. Different thing, Artie. That's a very different thing. And mind you, I'm not on the side of management. Never mind. I'll get there.
Sound like an Artie apologist.
I'm not an I am the furthest thing from an Artie apologist. I just see it the way it is the difference.
No, well, and what you're saying, you're explaining what we all know. Why
are you shocked? Then why are you shocked when he gives an Artie answer?
I'm not sitting here shocked. I'm sitting here saying he needs to change his approach.
We both know that's not going to happen.
8 years of no playoffs is unacceptable. I understand.
Because to him, hold on.
But we don't rant on this. We don't rant on this podcast.
No, but here's my point.
That he's going to make a change.
I know. But you want to know what he will make the change? And I said it before. The only time he's going to make a damn change is when it hits his wallet. It hit his wallet last year. That's why you didn't see a Trey Turner shining. You saw a Tyler Anderson signing.
Well, and we've made that point, and I agree to that point.
Then why are you looking at the answer? Then why are you looking at his answer and saying, why is he giving the Artie answer? Because what do you expect?
Are you just trying to derail the whole thing right
I'm not derailing the whole thing. I'm making the point of you're getting mad for a dog shitting on the carpet when the dog shit on the carpet before and saying, why did the dog shit on the carpet?
Look. That's the whole point of this rant, is to say Artie is a bad owner. We're breaking down his answers not because we don't understand, but because this is, you know what I mean? Like, this is more an outlet for.
No, I know, but you're misinterpreting what he's saying as that's the stuff he can't control. What do you want him to say? Oh, I'm sorry, I made the team a shithole after I acquired it because when Bill Stillman retired and I got Tony Regans, who was really, really good GM, I forced him out of town because I'm a stupid dumbass motherfucker who wanted Vernon Wells. So I thought Vernon Wells would give us something we wanted, and I traded Mike Napoli, who haunted us for a million years, because I'm a stupid ass. Is that what you want him to say?
Look. I don't want Artie I know Artie's not going to go that much into specifics, But for him to talk about selling the team and then to immediately, or not immediately, but after several months of deliberation, turn around and say, you know what? We're going to keep the team.
Would I have enjoyed him saying something along the lines of, I screwed up this team from what it was when I bought it because I botched it. If he would have said like, I botched it, is that what you wanted? Because he did go on to make those points.
And that's, I'm getting there.
He's clearly living in the past.
I'm getting there.
When he's talking about Vlad art,
yes, exactly.
When he's talking about Vlad, Cologne, and Tori, where it's like, okay, what did you do since? Oh, a coke addict.
We're getting derailed here a little bit.
Do you want to jump to the minor league stuff?
Before we jump into the minor league stuff, I will give you everything you've said.
I'm missing Showtime for this.
You hate me right now, don't you?
I really do. Just go. Just go.
Okay. Well, anyways, we won't go terribly much longer, but you're the one who also sidetracked us here.
I'm getting that itch.
Anyways, so
why'd I go video?
No. I'm all I'm saying is there were ways that Arte could have answered these questions that did not just deflect and go away.
Yeah, and I agree.
Go for opposite answers. And I'm not saying I expected him to answer with, I'm stupid, I don't know how to run a baseball team. Because
that's a great answer. That would have been a great answer, though.
But it's a given. He knows, everybody knows that about him. Or maybe he doesn't know that and he's just full of himself like every rich person in the world. I don't know. But
doesn't every fan base just envision their owner as Mr. Burns?
Probably. But no, look, you've been more defensive of Arte than I think
I'm not being defensive of Arte. I'm just like, what? I'm just saying, what do you want him to say? Is more or less what I'm asking.
I'm telling you what I want to. Okay, so look here, we can skip through the minor league development stuff. Like, yeah, he said
no offense.
He basically what he should have said was, look, there have been a lot of points made in the media over the past couple of years that minor league players needed to be developed more, and I have plans to make sure I'm gonna make sure that they're fairly compensated. I'm gonna do everything I can to help make sure that they are better compensated, that their living standards are better during the season, that they're able to have hotels and things and whatever. I would have loved him to answer that. I get why he answered the way he did. I get it. I get it. Is it
because
I know Minassian's the one who mostly ended up answering it, and Minassian's basically like, I don't have the power to get that kind of approval from Arte, to get the kind of approval to get the minor league quality of life that much better.
Do you want to know
I think they're doing what they can.
Yeah. Do you want to know the dirty you want to know the dirty secret behind this? And you got to realize what Blum's asking with this question. He's strictly asking housing because it became a very big thing that apparently, like,
yeah.
For those of you who are unaware or uninitiated, when it comes to the minor leagues, you're basically an intern. It's basically you're basically a paid intern. You're not really making a lot, and unless you're like a top pick. Here's the unfortunate truth, and I think this is something gets lost in the shuffle, and it sucks. It's business. It's the nature of the beast. If you're not a top prospect in an organization, they don't give a flying rip.
They need to, though.
It's the nature of the business because
they're gonna lose a union battle over this before too long. You would rather be the team that's ahead of that than the team that's behind that. They're gonna the players' union will eventually back these minor leaguers up, I think.
To a degree, because I don't
But wouldn't you rather be the team that's ahead of that than the team that said we cut costs until the last possible second?
Hold on. here's my rebuttal, and I'm not pro management. I am when I say I'm not saying this as like the view of the management. I am not. When I say this, Tony Clark knows. He's a former player. He knows how the game's played, and he knows that's how it is. Like could they? The whole thing is when it comes to like housing and stuff. I don't know what they wanted to do, because I really no. I mean this. I truly do. Is the answer as simple as they have to rent like floors in apartments and bunk these kids like they're college students when they're home? I guess. I guess that's the simple answer.
I think there needs to be a better way to fund these teams so that the housing,
there's so
at
much
the very least the hotels that they stay in on the road.
The whole problem, the whole thing is though, is a lot of these towns is, when it comes to minor leagues, a lot of these towns are the equivalent of college towns. They're kind of like Orem. Okay, Orem. Or isn't Orem's in Utah, right? Like where the
Orem used to be one, but they moved to Colorado.
But my point is
Salt Lake is though.
But I'm saying like Orem's not exactly a Flushing metropolis, right?
I mean, there's space.
But okay, but my point is like if you look where these hubs of minor league teams are, they're in the middle of podunk nowhere. What are you gonna do with podunk nowhere, where the only hotel is probably a Motel 6?
I was gonna say Orem probably wasn't your best option because Orem is up in the Provo area, right near BYU, and
better example. San Bernardino, where the 66ers play. I've been to stadiums there. It's awful. It's literally
I get where you're coming from.
That's my point. Is like when they talk. See, people, again, I'm not pro management, but when people talk about this quality of living and quality for minor leaguers, I want to be like, do you know where these towns are? For these guys, and that's look, just, and again, that's just it sucks. I'm not saying it's not good when the Dodgers, who are in Rancho Cucamonga, compared to the Angels, who are in San Bernardino. Like, well, but the question is if
you can't provide, but if you can't provide some basic necessities for these guys,
if you can provide it and you can budget it,
no. But what my question and my thing is if you can't, then should you have minor league system to begin with?
Well, you have to.
I understand, but if you can't provide it for these young men,
well, okay.
Should you?
Let me. If they were to be like, hey, we will.
If you're going to tell them, that this has to be your life in order for you to have even an outside shot of making the major leagues.
Yeah, but you do. Okay, you do know that,
and you provide them the bare minimum paychecks. And then
but they know what they're signing up for
themselves.
They know what they're signing up for.
They might know what they're signing up for, but you can't be paying a job that's basically making less than a minimum wage for the hours you have to put in.
I agree. I don't disagree with you.
But that's what I'm saying. I'm saying as Arte,
but what you want them to do?
Plan set forth to say, look, we're looking into what we can do. I don't care if you have the answers now. Tell me what you're trying. Tell me that you're trying. Perry tells me, and look, Perry's answer was good. I thought his answer to this whole question was good.
Maybe, well, the whole thing is Arte
cares.
Yeah,
he wants to do it.
I know, but the whole thing
they don't have the setup for it.
I know, it's probably because Arte doesn't
help him.
Yeah, because Arte doesn't think about it. Because an Arte has, I guarantee you, Arte's like,
for Arte, it's just a budget item.
Yeah, it's like, why do I have to deal with it? Because the whole thing is, I know his literal thing is, why do I have to put up for something in San Bernardino when it's a shithole of a town? Right, but you had Rancho and you let that contract slide to go to San Bernardino. It's your fault. You could have stayed in Rancho where it's nicer. No, you went to San Bernardino to save a couple bucks.
No, yeah, and I agree.
But I mean, they could.
My thing is I just want an answer from Arte that says, look.
I mean, they could cut the minor league systems.
We're looking into what we can do, even if it's complete bullcrap. Give me the answer that.
But I mean,
they know that people are looking for.
They could easily just say like, "Hey, we're gonna ditch. We're not gonna like." They have rookie ball, high A, low A, double A, triple A. They could easily gut and say, "Hey, we're just gonna have double A and triple A." They could.
Look, I don't
they
know.
Could.
I don't.
It would
I'm
suck
not
for
a professional on these
but,
kinds of matters.
No, but I'm just saying, like you're saying, like, well, why don't they just gut it? They could gut it, but it would. You'd have another Bernie Sanders rant where it talks about hurting economies because it unfortunately does hurt the economy. It hurts the economies of the towns they're in. It's one of those things.
True,
where it's such a giant mess. Unfortunately,
I agree. But all I want to know is Arte saying, at least saying we don't have an answer for that yet, but we're looking into what we can do instead of diverting to Perry, and Perry just says, well, I don't have control over this situation, so here's what I do have control over. And his answer was great. His answer was, I care. I want to do what we can do, but this is as much as we can do from right here.
Yeah, I think the whole thing is it's a process.
And then there's also Stan Blum made the point, there are teams doing it better than the Angels.
Yeah, there's teams doing it better. There's probably teams doing it worse.
Exactly. But the fact is why are we okay being worse than other teams? We should be but Arte should always be seeking to be the best. The fact that he doesn't have that drive to be the best of the organizations bothers me. It's part of why I feel like we don't win a World Series with Arte.
I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you.
Okay. Well, there's just a couple of other stuff I wanted to touch on. Blum talks about the percentage thing. I thought he made a good point on that about Arte says, oh, well, we're actually spending about 60% of our
that's a flat out
our
lie.
Budget on payroll.
He's lying.
But really, what he's doing, if he is, it's because he's decreased other departments.
No, he's lying. That's a flat out lie. It's not. Get out of here with that crap.
But
that's
who's going to question him on it is the real thing. You'd have to look
no
up
one,
a bunch of stuff on it.
No one, because no one's. It's one of those.
No one's got access to the information needed, anyways.
Yeah, because the whole thing is, it's the joke of, if I were to tell you the majority of sports teams operate in the red, you would say no, they don't, but they do. But when it comes to, like, they're spending 60% on payroll, you're not spending 60% on payroll. Shut up.
Yeah, well, and so then Blum asked, when you look at the team's performance last 8 years, do you see something that's missing? Do you take responsibility for the record? And Arte basically just says, I've spent money. And you guys all talk about the bad investments, but look, we signed Guerrero, Colon, and Torrey Hunter. Yes, in 2006
20 years ago.
Was the last year you signed any three of those guys.
I love
That's a horrible answer. Who told you that was a good answer? No, you haven't signed the last, the players that you have on your team right now that have panned out well are players that basically were developed by the Eagles.
What a great answer. What a
Connie?
God,
yeah, it's horrible.
What a great answer. I love that answer. I really do, because that man's stuck in 2005.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, finally you're bashing Arte with me.
Because it's the greatest answer I think I have. I read that answer, I died laughing. I love the idea. 20,000% of, I made great investments. You guys remember Vlad? Who doesn't love Vlad? You remember Torrey? Who doesn't fucking love Torrey? like what the?
Colon was a great pitcher.
I signed Big Sexy before he was Big Sexy. He was just sexy. I signed an MVP and a Cy Young Award winner back-to-back years. What do you want from me? I'm the guy who signed Mike Trout. Remember when we signed Mike Trout? How big of a boner you got then?
Well, and this all goes back to he says he did that, but it was Stoneman and Regans that did all that. Like,
no, it was all me. It was me, Arte.
Moreno.
I don't know why I make it Arte like some Boston smoker, but it was me, Arte
Moreno.
Even though he's from Arizona or something.
We can skip to the we talked about the urgency to spend more.
Did you ever watch my video on when I did the survey?
I did.
Okay. That's where my thoughts.
The FBI was like the FBI thing, like, again, that goes back to the whole thing of but Arte basically said I didn't talk. And it's like, no, you have. I'm sure you have, but you not say.
Lol.
I'm glad Blum asked, like, hey, what about the FBI?
We didn't talk to him.
Nobody was going to ask that. And I think
that's a question I
Arte was hoping that nobody would.
That's a question I want. I wanted to know if he did, because when he said no, I'm like, no, you probably were. I think he was under investigation. So he didn't necessarily have to speak with anyone from the FBI, but I think he was under investigation.
So multiple questions from Blum, Bollinger, and Fletcher talked about Ohtani keeping him long term. Blum talked about this in his podcast, and I think he touches on this the best. But I honestly, in this instance, there's not a whole lot Arte can do.
No,
the thing he could have done was the thing he didn't do, which was sell the team.
I don't.
There were I think one or two owners that might have been able to change Shohei's mind.
Maybe
one or two that were rumored. Maybe. But now that you're right. It's not a definite.
But obviously, but okay. Here's the whole shtick: is Ohtani was here when they signed Trout long term, right?
Yeah.
Is it really out of the question that they already said, like, hey, I stay, you stay? Shake on it?
It's possible, but
because we didn't
short of a written contract isn't going to hold them here necessarily.
But what I'm getting, well, maybe there is a written contract.
Well, that'd be illegal.
I shared the conspiracy theory that David Samson says that they have an extent that Ohtani agreed to an extension with the Angels when he came over, and Samson believes that the Angels flat out tampered when he signed his original deal, and all they're really doing is just drawing it out that the deal's done, that there was an extension in his first after the rookie contract.
Possible, and so what I was saying before was, I do think outside of selling the team, there's not a whole lot already, like assuming that there's not something already in place. There's not a whole lot already could have done in terms of getting Ohtani to stay long term, other than throwing all the money at him. And I'm guessing he'll do that because, Ohtani is a great marketing piece. Ohtani is a great ticket seller. Like, regardless of what we say as Angels fans, like, we won't go to games. Well,
people didn't go to games last year.
People will go to Ohtani's games.
People went to see Ohtani pitch, and that was it.
Yeah.
I don't think that would change.
So, but they talked about Bally. It wasn't that interesting, really.
Yeah, the Bally thing isn't really that exciting.
Yeah.
Because it's weird as it sounds, that doesn't affect them as much as I think people think it does.
I think I'm trying to remember where the hold on, let's see. Okay, so this is the last one I wanted to talk about, so that way I can get you back to your own MLB The Show.
It seems like I'm a crack addict, and you're keeping me away from my stash.
I basically am.
I won't say you're.
The last question was asked by Fletcher. He says, "When you announced you were selling, fans were eager to see a change, and when you came back, there was disappointment. How did you feel about that?" Arte's answer: I'm going to just read this in full because it's so ridiculous.
It's a great answer.
I don't have any social media, but you always have a vocal minority that's not going to be happy no matter what. And the reality is, anytime you sell or do something, it can potentially change the fan experience. They just paid all this money for this team. They'll say, I have to raise ticket prices. One of the things we've tried to do is keep everything affordable. And from the day I walked in, affordable tickets, affordable concessions, affordable souvenirs. And you can go to other parks and just walk around and look at the prices. And you can look at our prices. The press doesn't like to talk about it, but we really have an affordable fan experience. I always tell people, sometimes people want something they don't, or people want something they really don't know. They really like that car, and then they have to make the payment. First of all, my problem is he starts by saying, "Oh, we've got this vocal minority that wants to sell the team." No, Artie, the majority of fans want you to sell the team. If like Artie's never going to listen to this, obviously. He's never going to hear me say anything I'm saying.
Never know that. You don't know.
But if he did somehow ever hear what I was saying, I am in 4 different Angels groups on Facebook. I regularly interact with people on Twitter that are Angels fans, that are Angels communities. The only way I can put Angels fans' reactions when Arte announced he was selling the team was raucous celebration.
Yeah. Well, you got to remember.
And the only way I can phrase the reaction to him announcing he wasn't going to sell the team was utter and complete and abject disappointment.
Yeah.
There was almost no. Wow, I'm so glad Artie's going to stay around. That brings us a level of consistency we might not have had otherwise.
Well, there was one. There was one.
Sam Blum mentions in his podcast.
There was one.
I'm trying not to dip too much into his podcast because people should go and listen to it.
I love the fact that
they did a poll, and to be fair, those might not have been all Angels fans answering to the poll, so there's going to be a little bit of a bias there. But only one person said he's doing an excellent job. And that could have been Arte himself, as Sam Blum said.
No. If I had to guess, I know who I'm willing to put a nickel on who I think it was.
Yeah. Like, what is going on? Why does
it was me? It was me. I did it.
You did it?
No, I think I made a video on it. I said no, he sucks.
Oh, right. Was that the Athletic survey that you had answered?
Yeah.
I couldn't remember if it was the Athletic or if it was some other.
No, it was Sam's. It was Sam Blum's. I think that was the greatest answer I've ever heard in my entire life.
Yeah, no, the fact that he's sitting there thinking,
I love it.
Everybody loves me. No, everybody hates you.
I love the nepotism.
They would at least love a different owner for at least a few years.
I love the nepotism. I love it. It just, God, it gets me rock hard. One, he's lying. He might not be on social media, but I think Sam made the comment where it was like he knows what's being said. He's aware of what he says. I think what he does is I think he knows which groups and which podcasts favor him and which ones don't, and he only listens to the praise. Like I said, I find it funny that now there's 2. You got Locked On Halo, Locked On Angels will tell it how it is. Calling All Halos will probably tell it how it is. We call it how it is. I know there's a bunch more, but I would say like probably the 3 that are going to get the biggest plays, or 2, I guess. One's very pro, like rose-colored glasses. Everything's fine. And the other one's just going to tell it how it is. And I would say if I had to guess, the one that is rose-colored glasses probably gets more views. Now, is that because people enjoy Arte, or are people stupid enough to enjoy a certain person because that person really damn badly wants to work for Arte? That I don't know, but that's really what it feels like, and I'm willing to bet he is. I think he is aware. It's just he just thinks that the one person saying Arte is everyone.
Yeah,
like I said, there was an Angels podcast that said, "quote him not selling is a bold move." I saw it, and I'm like, "You're an idiot."
Yeah, no, his best decision would have been to sell the team, and he didn't, and it sucks. But I guess we have to live with them if we're going to continue to be Angels fans, and for me to not switch to the Dodgers.
Well, I mean, when we said he didn't, when I was talking to Tim, that was the one thing too. It's like, do we jump ship? Does he become a Yankee fan because his dad's a Yankee fan? like, do I just become a Braves fan because that's the team I adopted as for the last 4 years? Like, are we jumping ship because Arte sucks so bad?
Yeah.
Like that's the stuff we even made the discussion of, like, is this even worth it? And really it like I stand by it, or I think it would just be like, I would root for players, not the team. Fine, whatever. But that's just the predicament we're in, because he's clearly not going to sell unless the owners boot him out, and they won't boot him out because they stonewall. They can stonewall. They can pull what they did to what's his name in the NFL with the football team.
Yeah.
And stonewall it, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Can I go back to the show?
The whole thing just reminded me.
No?
I guess.
Okay.
Look, you made the point of what do I expect of Arte? I know that I'm basically just pushing. I don't know what's the phrasing I want to use, but I know basically I'm hoping for something that has 0% chance of happening.
Yeah,
I get it. I really do. But the thing is I wanted to talk about it because it just look.
Did it hurt your soul?
I would love to be able to just say, all right, I'm done. I'm gonna be a Dodgers fan now. Can't. I can't. It's not who I am. I'm gonna be an Angels fan probably for the rest of my life. And yeah, now look, if Salt Lake got a professional baseball team,
good luck.
No, they won't. But if they did,
that'd be cool.
I would
go Stingers.
Probably at least start looking at them, and then
let's go
going
Stingers.
to their games and rooting for them from time to time. But I'd still be an Angels fan. But they could probably pull me away. But for now, being an Angels fan is even through the disgusting, disturbing stuff that I have to put up with from Arte.
Yeah.
I'm gonna continue being an Angels fan. So if you and Timmy leave, I'll be sitting here alone,
crying. You and Jake with your fish hats going, we have the Angels.
But no,
you rooted for legend Jeff Mathis.
Oh yeah,
who I've come around on mainly
World
for the
Series champion,
mainly for the
Jeff
meme.
Mathis.
I want you to know, every time someone talks shit on Jeff Mathis, I go, "You put respect on him. He's a World Series champion.
He has a ring.
He has a ring."
I had this debate with people on Wikipedia because I put on his Wikipedia page that he was a World Series champion, and then people started commenting. People started coming. Well, he wasn't actually on the full roster. He was just on the practice roster. But he got a ring.
Got a ring. Rings plus minus, baby. Can I go back to the show now?
Anyways, yeah, let's wrap this thing up.
All right, hold on. All right, let's go.
Is there anything else you wanted to mention?
Get ready for a lot of videos coming out on YouTube TV/spectacles. Okay, so
I'll have a video out probably. Well, there'll probably have been a video out on Saturday, and I'll probably have a video out later this week. The video that should be out as of this past Saturday for when this comes out on Monday. That's me and Spects playing some Mario Kart 64 and hurting. And then later this week I'm gonna put some Mario Maker content on YouTube, but check out our Twitch channels as well. That's where we mainly live. Spects is Spects Gaming TV, and I am BrycethePrince Gaming on Twitch. I'm gonna
probably dive into some of the story mode stuff, unlock some of the Negro League cards. Will probably be mainly for YouTube. So if you want to see some of the cooler modes, the story modes, check that out. I'm gonna try to get most of that done. That's gonna be my tomorrow thing. I think is gonna be me doing that, knocking those out, because those are some really cool cards that I want to get. I want to show.
And I'm going to try to distract Spects tomorrow just long enough for an hour and a half or so of Terraria.
I'll tell you, if I play I have a rule that if I stream it, I'm going to stream for 2 hours. So
okay, so I'll pull him away for 2 hours. Maybe I'll see. But anyways, you'll know on Monday how this all went. But anyways, until next time, like I said, check us out on YouTube and on Twitch, and we're both pretty active on at least the Twitch side of things, and Spects is a little more active on YouTube than me for at least for right now. So,
and I'm pro management,
and we'll see how things go. So, all right, and until next time, see you guys soon.
Bye, guys.